Hello everyone, and welcome to our Nutrition 440 lecture discussing how to use the ASU Library website, PubMed, Microsoft Word track changes, and RefWorks. So we're going to start out with the ASU Library website. So you'll want to head to lib.asu.edu, and here you'll see your home page. So under your frequently used resources, which is right here, you see a option to click on PubMed or Medline. And whenever you use PubMed, you want to make sure to access it through the library's website here, because ASU pays for us as students to have access to several journal articles for free. And you won't be able to get that if you go directly to PubMed.com. So you want to click on the PubMed website, and you can access it here. And so before we head over to use PubMed, I want to show you a little bit more around the ASU Library website. So one way that you can find things in the ASU Library website is through the Library One search. So if you have a journal article you're interested in pulling up, let's say on vitamin C and the common cold, you can simply search in your library. You want to clarify your search results to journal articles. And here we have several scientific journal articles talking about vitamin C and the common cold. So this is one way you can find journal research articles. A second way is looking on the PubMed website through the My ASU. So again, you can type vitamin C and common cold. And as you can see right here, we have at least 295 scientific articles focusing on this. So remember, for your paper project, you'll want to use articles that are 5 years old or less. So you can go ahead and select this 5-year publication date, and it'll bring up 30 research articles within that time frame on your desired topic. So make sure that the article you choose to write your paper on is accessible through PubMed. If it is not, you'll need to download that PDF and provide a copy to Dr. Johnston. One thing I want to point out when you're searching on PubMed is to make sure to use keywords instead of typing whole sentences or questions, such as here we have vitamin C in common cold, rather than is vitamin C associated with the reduced risk for developing the common cold during the winter? Using only keywords will help you to find more articles and will kind of filter out any sort of language that might affect articles coming up in your search. So real quick, I'm going to show you how to download an article from PubMed. So let's go ahead and change our keywords from vitamin C and common cold to vitamin C and Johnston. And we will pull up a randomized control trial conducted by Dr. Johnston. So once you select the title of the article, you're brought to the page with the abstract. And so here to the right, you see three links to download the full text or PDF, including one from Get It through ASU. So if either of these two links don't work, you can always get it through ASU. Again, this is a subscription paid by the university for their students. You'll want to download the article for your records, and you'll also want to have one on hand in case it's not accessible through PubMed if you get it through some other website. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to export a citation from PubMed for use in RefWorks, which I will explain towards the end of the video. So if we like this article and we want to use it in our paper or project, we'll need to cite it. And in order to easily export this citation, you go ahead and check this box right here, click the drop-down menu under Send To, select Citation Manager, and then we want to create our file. So once we create that file, we will want to save that to our desktop for later use. So make sure you save that file, and we can upload that to RefWorks later on, so you actually don't have to write any of your citations. It's very helpful. You can also use the ASU Libraries website to create citations for you. Once you've searched your search term in the ASU Library search bar and found the article you like, you click this little folder with the plus sign to the right of your article. Now, once you have that, you see that there's a little number 1 up next to my folder up here at the top. We select our folder and we want to click Export to RefWorks. And this will export to our RefWorks software where you have to log in with your account, which I'll explain later. So now we have 2 ways of exporting our references, one directly from PubMed saving as a file, and one through the ASU Libraries website. So now I'm going to go over how to import these references into RefWorks, how to create that RefWorks account, and how to use RefWorks to create references for you in your paper, which I personally think is the most helpful thing that RefWorks does. So now I want you guys to head over to the ASU Libraries website. Remember, that's lib.asu.edu. Under Accounts, you'll select My RefWorks Citation Manager. If you don't already have an account, you'll need to sign into your My ASU and you'll need to create that account. This is what the home page of your RefWorks account will look like. Mine is already populated with numerous references because I've been using it for several years, but if you've just now created a RefWorks account, it will be empty. So the first thing I'm going to show you how to do is to upload those references that you downloaded from PubMed. Remember, you saved them as a file, so here I have my file. So what you're going to do is hover over References, and then you're going to select Import. In the Import window, you want to go ahead and choose that file. Remember, this is the file we had selected or created from PubMed. So we'll choose the file. And then we'll want to change the import filter or data source to NLM PubMed. And then you select Import. We want to view the last imported folder. And here we have the article that we imported from PubMed. Thing I want you guys to remember for RefWorks is it's extremely important to always move your references into a folder. So the way you'll do that is to select your reference here at the left with a little checkbox and hover over the drop down little folder button, and you can either add it to a folder you currently have or create a new folder. Now the reason I'm telling you this is because I've lost a few references here and there when I haven't included them in a folder, so this just kind of helps keep everything organized. So the next thing I showed you guys how to do was how to import your references through the My ASU website, the My ASU Libraries website. So remember, you hit Export as RefWorks, and this automatically sends it straight to your RefWorks homepage. You want to view that last imported folder. You'll want to select that, and you'll want to move that to your Nutrition 440 folder. So now we have all of our references imported into RefWorks. The next thing I want to show you guys how to do is to insert a reference into your paper. So we have our paper written by Dr. Johnston here on vitamin C. And so if we take a fact from that paper and we want to cite it, what you do is you select these little brackets right here. And up comes a little HTML code. You simply copy it and paste it and insert it into your paper. Now, don't edit any part of this citation because if you do, RefWorks won't reference it. I want to open up the paper that you're writing. Here I have one up here, and as you can see, I have a sentence, and then I have copied and pasted a RefWorks reference at the end of that sentence. Now you leave it as is. One tip I want to give you guys is to save your document once you've inserted all the RefWorks references you need as like the document title with RefWorks at the end. And then once RefWorks edits your references and gives you a full complete document, save that as a separate document. And I will show you what I mean by that in just a minute. So now we have our references in there. One thing that you can do, you can also add multiple references to one selection. So let's view our references. Let's go to one one of our folders. And now you can also select two references. And because we left that paper by Dr. Johnston selected when we hit cite, now we have all three of these references in this reference HTML code. So you can cite multiple references at once. You don't need to separate them into separate codes to copy and paste. You'll want to combine them in RefWorks. So in order to create your bibliography, you'll want to manage your output styles, meaning your citation styles. So in order to do that, you'll want to go to Create Bibliography here at the top, and then you can select your output styles. So here I have some pre-selected output styles, and one you should use for this class would be something like AMA or JAND. JAND, the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So if you don't have any output styles here, you'll want to head to Manage Output Styles, and here you can search. So again, two output styles that you could use are the American Medical Association, that's here, or you can use JAND, which is the Journal of the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics. So as you can see here, I searched for AMA, and it only came up with the 9th edition because I already have the 10th edition selected. So if I were to search Journal for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, nothing would come up because it's already in my favorites. But what you want to do is when you find the citation style you want, you'll just want to click this little green arrow and add it to your favorites. That way it will always be accessible as your output style without having to go through this search process. Okay, so now, finally, we have your references imported into RefWorks from the ASU Libraries website and from PubMed. We have your output styles managed now, and we have, I've shown you guys how to insert citations into your paper. So now let's say you have your paper completely done, you're ready to add your citations and turn it in. So what you'll do is you'll hit Create Bibliography. Then you'll select Format a Paper and Bibliography. You'll select your output style. So I'm going to select the Journal of the Academy for Nutrition and Dietetics, and we'll select a file from our computer. So I'm going to select this file, and it's going to be processing down here in the right-hand corner. So sometimes you have to give it a few minutes depending on how long the document is. One tip I want to give you guys is that sometimes .docx files do not work depending on your RefWorks account and the computer you're using. So if a little red error bar comes up when you try to upload your files, just go ahead and convert that .docx to .doc. You won't be able to convert text files or pages files, so make sure you're uploading Microsoft Word documents. So again, I'm going to save this to my desktop, and it's going to have a different name from the original document. And I will show you guys what it looks like. So if you pull this up, as you can see here, this is where the reference HTML codes were, and now there's numbers next to it. And when we scroll all the way down to the bottom of the document, here we have all of our references all ready for us. So now I have a document that had no references to begin with, and RefWorks inserted all the in-text citations and created the bibliography at the end of the document for me. Much easier than hand typing them yourself or going someplace like easybib.com. Now remember, you'll want to save the final document with the references inserted as a separate document because if you ever needed to go back and edit a reference, you can't because they're now converted to numbers and the computer won't recognize them anymore. So make sure to save that original document. So you want to have two documents, one with the RefWorks HTML codes in them and one with the final references to turn into Blackboard. All right, so now that you guys have RefWorks, the ASU Libraries website, and PubMed under your belt, we're going to go ahead and do a quick overview of Microsoft Word track changes. So in order to go over Microsoft Word track changes, I'm going to have you guys open up a document. So I'm just going to use the document that I used for the RefWorks example. So the reason that we need you guys to know about Microsoft Word track changes is because that's the method you're going to use to review your peers' paper for this paper assignment. So what's going to happen is you're going to turn your papers into me before the actual deadline for the final paper. I'm going to de-identify them, which means I'm going to take the name off of them, and I'm going to randomly assign papers back to students in the class. So some other student is going to get your paper, and you're going to get another student's paper. And the purpose of this is to kind of have you guys go through that peer review process that you would have to go through if you're submitting an article to a scientific journal. So what we want you guys to do is comment on the science, flow, and logic of the paper, as well as the grammar. Again, like in the last video, we really want you guys to emphasize on the science and the flow of the paper, because just giving grammar comments is not as helpful as giving comments on the content. And so the way we want you guys to make comments is by using Microsoft Word track changes. So to access this, you'll hit the Review tab at the top of your Microsoft Word window. And when you're ready to make a comment, let's say we want to make a comment on this first sentence, we highlight the sentence and we select New. And now I have a comment box created and I can type whatever I want to type related to that first sentence. In addition, you can also edit grammar. Let's say we want to remove a comma from a sentence. So we make sure this track changes box is switched to on, and we can delete punctuation. We can change things from capital to lowercase. We can delete whole words. And that way, you make a change, but the original author of the document can see that change that you made. So they don't have to compare their original document to the one you created to see what things are changed. And they can also accept or reject a change. So it's not necessary to accept every single change that your peers gave you. Just consider the things that they suggest. So once you get your paper back, you can examine the comments, change what you need to do. You'll want to take track changes off if this is your paper, and you can remove comments, and then you can either accept a change that somebody made, or you can reject a change by hitting the little X box. So here we have an edited paper with the changes accepted. You'll want to follow through your document. And if there's anything left in red, you just put your cursor next to it and you can hit accept. So now our document contains no track changes and it's fully ready to turn in once we upload the references. Make sure that you put sufficient comments on your paper. We really want everybody to get good feedback. So after watching this video, you guys should have a clear picture of what you need to do for this assignment. You should have already watched the workshop video that talked about the instructions for the paper and the presentation, and now you have a thorough understanding of PubMed, the ASU Library's website, RefWorks, and track changes. So please feel free to email me, Taylor, or Dr. Johnston if you have any questions, and we will be more than happy to help with any of these tools or with the assignment itself. So good luck and enjoy the assignment.